week and just go over a few things that we have been talking about at the board level, at the administrative level. First of all, I want to say just thank you. Thank you so much to the teachers, to the parents, to the students. Everyone's done a remarkable job during a time that really we never could have imagined. And I very, very much appreciate all of you. I know parents, you've had to put on your teacher hat when you have a full-time job and you run a home and you take care of children. And oh, by the way, now can you teach as well? So thank you so much for that. And to the teachers, of course, you've just been outstanding. I appreciate you. I admire you. I love you. I respect you. And thank you so much for making this happen. And I know I see our friends our students on here, and you guys have been great. Chapel is really the highlight of my day when I get to see your beautiful shining faces. So thank you so much. I appreciate you all very, very much. Of course, we wish we had a crystal ball and Dr. Wyko could tell us this is what's going to happen medically, but no one knows exactly what's going to happen. So we're just going to have to plan. I don't want to say plan for the worst, but in a way that's what we're doing. And so what I'm going to share with you are the protocols that we've approved to begin the school year with, and maybe a miracle will happen and we will not have to do these things, but I want you to know that they are in place. And just because they're in place from the first day of school does not mean they'll have to be in place for the entire school year. Certainly we're planning for it for the first semester, but I just know that this is a very fluid situation and we will be able to respond, react to whatever's going on. But for now, we want to have good planning. So of course, we will have social distancing in the classroom and everywhere the children go. The temperatures will be checked. Everyone's temperature will be checked before they enter the room. We haven't exactly figured that out, if it'll be as they get out of the car or at the classroom door, probably at the classroom door so we don't miss anyone. Lunch will not take place in large group. It will be either out in the picnic table area, and we'll add picnic tables when the weather allows. If not, it'll have to be in the classroom because we do not want that many children in one place at a time. Right now we have a couple of classes that go together for specials, and that will not happen. Everyone will have their own special class. So social distancing can happen there. And if you think about the computer lab, it's very small and children sit right next to each other. So that will probably have to take place in the cafeteria, as will art if the classes are too large for appropriate spacing. Recess may have to happen out on the play or the field by the school so the kids can get exercise and run around. And if we have small enough classes and we're able to play on the playground, in some situations we will, but of course that will have to be cleaned between every playtime. Unfortunately, we will not plan for any night gatherings or any large group gatherings that we just are so much a part of our culture and what we'd love to do and what we'd love to see our kids perform in. We'll have to come up with some virtual way of doing that, but we will not have any large gatherings, or we're not planning any for right now. We're going to ask parents to text us when they come to pick up their children, and we'll ask you to stay in your car, and we will pick up your child and deliver he or she to the car. So that'll just take a little bit more planning on everyone's part. So you'll let us know that you're on your way and we can have your child ready. Masks will be optional. I don't know, of course, how you feel about masks for small children, but if that's what makes you feel better, then certainly that's what we want you to do. And the teachers will just honor that in the classroom as well as wherever the child goes. I'm going to see if I can open this document. So those are the overall general guidelines. We're measuring all the classes to see exactly how many children we can fit in every room safely. Of course, social distancing for young children is very difficult because they want to be together. They want to hug us, and we want to hug them, and they want to be near their friends, but we're going to just have to have a different set of rules than we currently have so that we can keep everyone safe. If someone is diagnosed with the virus, then we will ask them to stay at home 14 days past their last day of symptoms. And we know that will be an inconvenience, and really all of this is an inconvenience, but we know that we each have to make sacrifices just to keep each other safe. So that we're going to really depend on parents not to give their child Tylenol and send them to school when they had a fever early in the morning. And of course, if they have a fever during the school day, they'll be sent home immediately. So before I go on to the next thing we want to talk about, just tell me if you have any questions or comments about that, or maybe you thought of something that we haven't.
I had a question, and maybe we'll cover later, about aftercare. Will aftercare still be provided? And if so, are there any changes to the protocols there?
Thank you, Maria. Aftercare is definitely on our list that we do want to provide it. We're just trying to think of the very safest way to provide it. And I don't have an answer for that right now. Of course, the gym is available. That's not the best place for small children to be. But yes, and really in fairness to you all, we'll have to decide that by the 1st of June. So if you decide to have another option for aftercare, you'll still have time to do that. But right now we're planning to have it. We're just going to have it in a different way than we have it right now. Again, those children come in and they sit right next to each other in the cafeteria, and that won't be possible. And maybe you think we're overreacting. I don't know, but I just know that we all want to err on the side of caution, and plan for what we know is happening right now. And I also want to address, and please think of other questions while I'm talking, that you've probably seen in the news that school districts are rethinking their schedule, thinking of starting earlier, ending later, and putting breaks in the middle. I've looked at that many times, and we talked about it at the faculty meeting the other day, and I'm really afraid to do that, because what if we guess wrong? And what if we build in a time when it's not a problem, and then we're in school and it is a problem, and that'll have us out of school more. So I would prefer to keep our regular schedule, the schedule we have planned for now. And of course, if we have to close, then we'll be ready the next day to go to online learning. So I understand the problems with public school are different than our small school, because public school is thinking of children who don't have access to computers and they don't have access to the internet. And I know they're trying to be as proactive as possible, and that's, maybe that's what fits for them. I'm sure it is, but it's not what fits for us, I don't think, until we have better understanding of what that curve is going to look like through the year. And I don't know if we'll ever have that. We'll have some projections, of course, but just know that we will be very, very cautious about keeping school open. And but for now, we intend to keep the calendar as it is.
I have 2 questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Well, actually 2 things. Just
Okay.
first of all, I really just want to say that I really appreciate you and the administration, all the teachers, and how you guys have really come together and made this transition as smooth as possible. I have to commend you guys. There are so many people out there who have lots and lots of complaints about online school and things like that in their own schools and districts. And I feel like, for the most part, a lot of our parents are very, very happy with how things have occurred and how things have just kind of picked up where they left off, especially for the kids, to be able to adapt very quickly as possible and just really still feel very much like a part of the BFSMS family, even though we're apart. So I really just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Jeff's heart, we really appreciate all your efforts, all the teachers' efforts. It's just really amazing. I personally feel like you guys are not overreacting at all. And I, as a physician, we're both very, very appreciative of all the action that you guys have taken, and taken it seriously, and just really kind of come down hard on it, and just put everything into action. It's been amazing to see. The second question I had is, if a child comes back in with positive results, and they have to be quarantined, is there an option for them for, I guess, all the missed school that they're going to be, because it's going to be mandatory that they're quarantined for X amount of weeks, 2 at the minimum. So during those 2 weeks, will there be some sort of availability for them to be able to continue with school without, feeling like they've, they're dropped off a bit?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the compliments. Really, it's the teachers who have just put their heads to the grind and figured out how to do this in a very, very timely manner. And, you know, I think situations like this bring out the best in organizations, or the worst if you're not a strong organization to begin with. HEB to me is just a perfect example. They're strong to begin with, and you can see how strong they are in this situation. And this is how I feel about the teachers as well. They're great teachers. They're wonderful people. They love kids. They love to teach. And so really nothing has kind of been an obstacle to stop them from doing what they love to do and what they know they need to do. So thank you for that. And in answer to your question, Amy, about continuing the learning, yes, we've had many conversations about that. I can't tell you that it's exactly logistically figured out, but we know that we have some parents who want their children to continue to stay at home, but continue their education. And then, of course, if a child is at home, we want them to, because they're ill, we want them when they're able and ready to continue their education. So I'm not sure if that would look like, now we've talked about a couple of options, the child just, the teacher having the Zoom set up and the child logging in and being a part of the class all day, or if the teacher would have a math group for the kids who are at home, as she has math groups for kids in the classroom, and a reading group as she does. Of course, middle school is different. However, middle school has followed their regular schedule. They've had classes all day. So the short answer to that is yes. The long answer to that is we have to figure out the details, but we will, because it seems like the possibility of that happening, or the possibility of parents not feeling comfortable sending their child to school if the virus really does spike, it's a very real thing. So we have to be prepared for that. And fortunately, we have several months to do that. So we will make that a possibility.
I have a follow-up question to that. Again, I would also echo the sentiment from the parents, at least in our case. Congratulations to everybody. I think you guys did a wonderful job managing the transition into online schooling, and the kids have been, at least in our case, have been motivated and have grown as children with this whole thing. So that's thanks to you. So congratulations. In terms of the likeliness of something like this, of one of our kids testing positive at some point, the odds are good. It can happen. It's unfortunate, but we got to adapt to that reality. So with that said, is there a protocol beyond that kid staying at home, obviously, and being quarantined for 14 days? Is there an additional protocol for the rest of the class? Because as we know, asymptomatic is something that plays a role in this whole thing. Therefore, if one kid has it and has symptoms and what have you, it is likely that it is already spread out within the class or beyond. Is there a protocol that we can come up for the rest of the class in case one kid had any symptoms or needs to stay home?
Well, Andres Munoz, that is an excellent, excellent question. And I think that